Hello, I'm continuing my Beatles discography review with A Hard Day's Night. So, A Hard Day's Night is the third studio album by the Beatles, and it was released on the 10th of July 1964. And this was the first Beatles album not to have any cover songs on it. This includes all Lennon and McCartney compositions, so everything on here was written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. And part of it is the soundtrack to the Beatles' first film of the same name. So yeah, 7 of the 13 tracks on here were from the movie, and the movie's also brilliant. It's just a classic. It's funny. It's got great music in it. It's just wonderful. And one day I will review the film. Like, once I've finished reviewing the albums, I'll probably review the Beatles films as well. Yeah, they did. Well, they did they did 3 like proper theatrical films. The other 2 were not. One of them was a documentary. One of them was a short TV movie. But yeah, anyway, so let's go through track by track. So it opens with the classic title track, A Hard Day's Night, and who doesn't know this song? Opens with that iconic chord, the guitar, and apparently there's piano mixed in as well. It just opens with that chord, and then it's just instantly recognizable. And I just love the lead vocals shared by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, and it reminds me of the beginning of the film as well, when they're all running from their screaming fans and then into the train station. Yeah, it's a great song. And then track 2 is I Should Have Known Better, with John Lennon on vocals. And yeah, this is just another great song. It's got nice lyrics, lovely harmonica, and a good use of the 12-string Rickenbacker guitar as well, which inspired Roger McGuinn from the Byrds. And this was 1964, so this was the year that the Byrds were formed. So yeah, great song, and it does remind me of that scene in the film when they're in the train carriage with the schoolgirls. And then track 3 is If I Fell. This is a lovely song. It's a nice slow acoustic ballad with some nice harmonies with John and Paul. And this was also used in the film as well. Yeah, it's the scene where they go to the studio. Yeah, there's the scene in the film when they go to the studio and then they perform this. And yeah, it's just a lovely song. Track 4 is I'm Happy Just to Dance With You, which has George Harrison on vocals. And yeah, just another fantastic song. And this was also in the film. And yeah, you could see them performing it live. Well, the scene where they perform it in the film, it's another scene in their studio. And yeah, it's great. And then track 5 is the classic And I Love Her. Just a lovely acoustic and lovely vocals by Paul, and yeah, it's just a wonderful song. And I love the bongos as well. And I think George Harrison plays the 12-string acoustic guitar on here. Just wonderful. And track 6 is Tell Me Why. And this is a great song as well. And this is the first use of this is the first time that John uses a falsetto on here, towards the end of the song. And yeah, I love the harmonies with him and with John and Paul, and yeah, and I like the bit at the end where performing this song at the end of the movie. Like the movie ends where they're doing a live television performance, and I think this is the song that they open with that performance. Yeah, it's great song. And then track 7 is the classic Can't Buy Me Love, and this of course has Paul McCartney on vocals. And yeah, this is just a classic, and it reminds me of that scene in the film when they escape when they're running out of the studio because they're trying to escape from their manager. And yeah, it's not actually Brian Epstein in the movie who's he was their real life manager, but in the film their manager was actually played by Norman Rosington, who I know from, he was in Carry On Sergeant, the first Carry On film. So yeah, he plays their manager in this film. And yeah, he's a bit of a dick, basically. So yeah, the Beatles are trying to like get away from him, and then they run out of the studio, and then this song plays. But yeah, great song. This was the first single from here. So this was the first single from the album. So this was released as a single before the album. Hard Day's Night was the second single from here. So yeah, so that's all the songs from the movie. So all the ones from now were the ones that were not in the film. So track 8 is Any Time at All. This is a great song. Great vocals from John. Wonderful, lovely lyrics. And I love the vocal when at the beginning of the song when it says "any time at all," like John says it first and then Paul says it and then John. Yeah, I just love that. It's one of my favourite tracks on this album. Track 9 is "I'll Cry Instead," and this is another John song. And this one's got sort of a country vibe to it, but it's very good. It's great though. I love it. And track 10 is The Things We Said Today. This is a Paul song, and it's absolutely great. I think this was the B-side of, I think it was originally the B-side of Can't Buy Me Love, or no, it's the B-side of A Hard Day's Night. But yeah, it's a fantastic song. I love it. Yeah, great lyrics. Track 11 is When I Get Home. This is another John song, and again, it's just another fantastic song. Like, I think on this album there's no bad. Well, I think most of the Beatles albums don't have bad songs anyway, but on this one I'd say all the tracks on here are great. But yeah, When I Get Home is fantastic. Track 12 is You Can't Do That, another one of my favourites, and this was the B-side of Can't Buy Me Love. And yeah, it's got some controversial lyrics, but it's basically a song about jealousy, but it's a good rocking song. I love the during the drumming there's some cowbell as well. It's just great. And then the 13th and final track, it closes with I'll Be Back. And this is a beautiful song, because on the first two albums, they actually closed with an upbeat rocker, well this one closes with more of like a soft ballad. And yeah, it's got some nice heartwarming lyrics in it, nice acoustic guitar, nice vocals from John. It's just a great way to close out this brilliant album. So yeah, Hard Day's Night is a fantastic album, so I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. It's perfect, in my opinion. Especially when I was playing it just now, before this review. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, this is when they were starting to come into their own as songwriters, because there's no covers on here. This is just brilliant. Whereas other artists at this time, like the Rolling Stones and the Hollies, they were still making albums with cover songs on them. So yeah, this is just a classic album. The film is fantastic as well. I love the movie. So yeah, I'd highly recommend this one. And I'd say this is probably my favourite album of the early period of the Beatles. You know, I can't say anything negative about it. It's faultless. It's perfect. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that review. The next review I'll be doing is Beatles for Sale. So until then, take care.